in Anaheim, up 3-1. Big day in baseball. Yankees cruise by the Orioles 6-2. Michael Pineda, a career-high 16 strikeouts. Red Sox beat the Blue Jays 6-3. Indians dominate the Twins 8-2. Danny Salazar remains hot on the hill. 4-1 record, allowed just one hit, fanned 11. Rangers snuck by the Rays 2-1. Nationals edge the Braves 5-4. The Pirates get by the Cardinals 4-3. St. Louis loses their first series of the season. Mets over the Phillies 7-4. Bartolo Colon win number 6 on the season. Golf Players Championship headed to a playoff. It's Kevin Kisner, Sergio Garcia, and Ricky Fowler tied at 12 under. I'm Keith Irizarry. This is NBC Sports Radio, and of course, the NBC Sports Radio mobile app.
Kcaa Loma Linda.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Dave Murs. This afternoon, sunny skies, a light west breeze 82. Into your evening, clear, winds pick up a tad 55. Tomorrow, some sun for a time, a gusty west breeze 20 or 25 miles per hour, 83. Tuesday morning, some fog, then sun. That's your weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind. NBC News Radio, AM 1050, KCAA.
Discover the wonders from the land down under at the Australian Outback San Diego Zoo's latest exhibit. Here you'll encounter wombats, wallabies, kookaburras, cockatoos, and koalas. You'll be at eye level with 7 different marsupials, and you may even encounter koala joeys on their moms' backs. San Diego Zoo's Australian Outback is also home to 25 colorful bird species. Watch these beautiful creatures in the land down under. The new Australian Outback at San Diego Zoo. For more information, go to sandiegozoo.org.
Welcome to Isla Earth. Have you ever thought of using your loved ones as compost? Maybe I better explain that one. There's a growing interest in environmentally friendly burials, the kind that don't put a ton of concrete into the earth to create a vault, or coffins outfitted with metal fixtures that could introduce toxins into the soil. Meet the Green Burial Council. It's setting environmental standards for cemeteries and burial grounds. They're also lobbying funeral homes to offer plans that are toxin-reduced and material that is biodegradable. Cremation was once thought to be an environmentally friendly way of disposing Uncle Harold's body, but the amount of fossil fuel expended to render a human body to ashes has caused many to rethink this option. Instead, there are now assortments of natural burial products, including simple shrouds, old-fashioned pine boxes, and coffins made from recycled newspaper and woven plant fibers. One company is even coming out with products from salvaged Indonesian hardwoods. Not to mention, there's always a simple cardboard box. Seriously. And did you know that embalming, which adds earth-toxic chemicals like formaldehyde and ethanol, is rarely required by law? So, beat the Reaper by visiting Discovery Links at islaearth.org before he makes a date. Isla Earth is produced by the Catalina Island Conservancy with support from its Fund for a Sustainable Planet, because Earth is an island.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. KCAA, Loma Linda.
Precious memories say to me, the mother's love will never leave. Wherever you are, no matter how far, she'll send a touch, her loving love, wipe your crying eyes, tender tears. This woman really believes in you. She'll tell you that dreams come true. So don't be worried, you'll make it too. Because faith will take us through. Just a mother's love. I got something to say. My special one. with you straight. Your family love is forever. Sometimes alone, lonely whenever. Without a love, you fade away. Can you really say that you're okay? Struggling with life's ups and downs, confused and running, trying to please. She's giving you hope so eyes can see, to have a decent life. Just a mother's love. I got something to say, my special woman, this wonderful lady, Cecilia, beautiful girl, in our passionate Amazing how she holds her own through trials and errors of unknown, hoping to pray for a miracle. Her heart and soul to reach full circle, commandments of love. I got something to say, my special woman, this wonderful lady, Cecilia, beautiful girl, in our passionate world, my special woman, this wonderful lady, Cecilia, beautiful girl, in our passionate world, my special
People, this is Robert Porter. Welcome to the I Love San Bernardino radio show on station CNBC KCAA 1050 AM, www.kcaaradio.com, a part of the Danny Alcarez and Angel Baby Sunday block, every Sunday from 4 to 9 p.m., a place where we can all learn together. Now, our call-in line is 1-888-909-1050. And a few city events to remember. San Bernardino Remember When and I Love San Bernardino Facebook group and Urban Garden San Bernardino's Meet and Eat is at the Mug on Highland on Saturday, May 16th from 4 to 6 p.m. 1588 West Highland Avenue, San Bernardino, California, 92411. And contact Benita Rodriguez on San Bernardino Remember When or I Love San Bernardino for more information. Then we also have the 3rd Annual Arts and Music Festival at CSUSB, Friday, May 15th at 4 p.m. Free admission and parking, and if you'd like more information, please visit the Cal State San Bernardino website. I'd like to mention our sponsors. Green Shack Deli, established in 1978, voted Best Subs in the IE. 163 West Highland Avenue, San Bernardino, California, 92405. If you'd like to make a call-in order, 909-866-3812. And then we have Auto Sound, our other sponsor of San Bernardino, located at 299 Southeast Street, San Bernardino, California, 92401. Open 7 days a week. Phone number 909-384-9661 or 909-888-1137 for all your stereo and video system needs. If you mention KCAA radio station or Danny Alcarez, you will receive an extra 10% off. Visit their website at autosoundofsanbernardino.com. You will be glad you did. Thank you, Renee of Auto Sound of San Bernardino from the Alcarez and Angel Baby Sunday block. All right. Well, right now I'm here with the Well, I'd like to dedicate this whole show to all the mothers of San Bernardino. We love you all, and especially my mother, Diller Porter.
Yes.
I love my mom. Could you say something to your mom real quick, Danny?
Hello, Mom.
Gotta love our moms. Miss Hill, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say hello to all the mothers throughout the country. My mother, unfortunately, is not with us, but I know she's watching down and just saying, don't make too many mistakes.
Well, I hope she's not saying that to me, but you never know. You never know. All right, well, just on the mic right there was Dr. Margaret Hill, and she's a lifelong educator in San Bernardino, and basically San Bernardino's adopted mother. So, could you tell us a little bit about yourself, Mrs. Hill?
I can, and thank you. I appreciate being here, and especially on Mother's Day. And again, I must say how wonderful it is we have not only mothers, but I have to give a shout out to the men, because there are some men who are raising children.
Absolutely.
And as they raise these children, they are mother figures also. So we appreciate the men who serve in that role, and hope you have a great day, and hope all of our children understand how important it is to have parents in our lives. But let me just tell you a little about me. I was born in the state of Virginia. I went to school there, elementary, two-room schoolhouse, high school, graduated from Norfolk State University in Norfolk, Virginia. Came to California in December of 1969. Had my first job here was with Operation Second Chance. And in 1971, I started teaching at San Bernardino High School. I taught there.
That's before I was born, Ms. Hill. Wow.
Well, I started young.
Wow, that's great.
Then from there, I worked as a vice principal at Curtis Middle School, Serrano Middle School, went back to San Bernardino High School as a vice principal. After that, I became a principal at San Andreas Alternative High School. And then I retired in 2003. After I retired, well, while I was in retirement, I was an adjunct professor at two colleges, University of Redlands and Cal State San Bernardino. But after 3 years of semi-full retirement, I went back to work at San Bernardino County Superintendent of Schools office as assistant superintendent. That's where I stayed until 2012. Loved that job, but the reason I left in 2011, not only did I run for school board, but I won a seat, and I realized that is almost a full-time job, and I just couldn't do both. And I felt it was important that I pleased the parents and the citizens who put me in office. So currently I am a member of the San Bernardino City Unified School District.
Wow, that's an incredible resume, Miss Hill. And there was some college in between there somewhere, right? Like for your doctorate, correct?
Well, I did skip over that, didn't I? When I got to San Bernardino, I attended Cal State San Bernardino, where I got my administrative and educational administration degree. And in 2000 and I believe it was 10, I was given the honorary doctorate by the University of Redlands.
Congratulations.
In social justice.
That's incredible. That's a great honor, too.
It was more than an honor for me.
Well, I went to an event with the Young Visionaries to take pictures, I think it was last Friday, and you were the person to be there. Everyone went up on stage. Thank Miss Hill, thank Miss Hill. It's obvious that you are the adopted mother of San Bernardino, and we appreciate that.
And that might be because since I did not biologically have any children, I had time for a whole lot of children, because I got to see them and send them home. So I didn't have to cook for them or wash for them or take them on vacation. And so for that reason, I've always enjoyed giving to young people and giving back.
Well, I see you at every event, Miss Hill. So I have to run up and give my hug and give credit where credit's due, and I am very proud of you. Thank you for all you do in San Bernardino.
Well, thank you. And San Bernardino has been good to me. Very good to me.
It's been good to me, too, man.
In fact, this is where I met my husband, and this year we will celebrate, I believe, is our 36th anniversary this month.
What a lucky man.
Congratulations.
Woo.
Thank you.
Mr. Alcarez, my co-host, has a little question for you.
Yes, I was wondering, Margaret, what do you think about the politics nowadays?
What do I think about politics? You know, Mr. Alvarez, the two things I said I really never wanted to discuss, and it was politics and religion. And now you put me on the spot for politics. I think there are different levels of politics, because I know what I do as a school board member is political. But I do what I do for the right reasons, and I do what I do because I believe in what I'm doing, and I believe it builds a better society. I would hope all politicians would adopt that vision for themselves, to do what is right. Not do what you do because you are a Republican or a Democrat or an independent, but do what is right.
Yes.
And when we start doing what is right, we are going to have a better country. And so I think politicians can make life healthy and in some cases unhealthy.
Right.
But I'm just, and I don't mind the dialogue. I don't have a problem with people disagreeing. But again, it has to be for the right reason and not because someone feels they want to do it because it's in opposition of another party.
So it's changed so much in the last 20 years, politics.
It has.
It's different now.
I feel very much so.
It's polarized. There's one side or the other, and for people like me who are in the middle, very much so. I mean, I switch from the left to the right, and that's because that's what humans should do.
Well, I do the same. I don't think in the last 20, 25 years of voting, I've ever voted a straight party ticket. I read what people say they're going to do, and I take them at their words. If they say they're going to do something,
That's important.
I assume they're going to do it. And whether it's, right, left, independent, in the middle, green, whatever, I feel it's important that I support and share my belief based on that, not necessarily on the party.
Well,
Do they
people
ever-
can add to your belief once you put it into play. Yeah.
Exactly.
Do they ever do what they say they're going to do?
I think many times they do. I think many times
Or they try to
They
do it.
do. I think many times they try to do. I think many times, especially people who are new to the business, haven't been there for 40 years, they want to make change, and that's why they get into this race. But I think once they get in, they realize it's not as easy as they anticipated. But even with that, some have still managed to, circle the wagon a little bit and make some changes.
It's a full-time job, basically.
It is.
It's a full-time
Definitely,
job.
definitely.
And
Around the clock.
we kind of expect some of our politicians to treat it like a secondary job. I think something we should look into changing. 'Cause I think the council people should have a full-time job.
Well, the old saying, you get what you pay for.
Right.
And when you pay $50 a month, that's what you're going to get, $50 a month
I didn't
worth.
want to mention that, but
Yeah.
$50 a month.
Right.
I'm thinking about running for third ward.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know if I want to make that $50 a month.
Right.
I don't know.
I understand.
You're used to making a little bit more than that,
Yeah, I
Mr.
think
Alcarez.
so. I think so.
And again, there are hearts in the right place. But when all is said and done, you still have to pay the rent.
Right.
You still have to make the car payment.
You still got to get voted in the next
And
time.
you still got to get voted in the next time.
We got to
And-
pay taxes and all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
And what I do hear from some of the politicians that have come in here is that they go in wanting to please as many people as possible and find it's just very difficult to please everybody.
Well, this is why it's so important. And you're not going to ever please everybody. This is why it's so important that when you represent taxpayers, that's what you need to represent, taxpayers. Some are going to agree with you. Just like the three of us here, we could probably have a dynamic question and we disagree. And that's okay. But it shouldn't be detrimental to you or me.
Or our relationship.
Or our relationship,
Yes.
or what have you. So,
If you can't disagree, then how are you ever going to learn someone else's point of view? So I like to disagree, but it doesn't mean that I don't take that information in and add it to all the other stuff in there.
Exactly. And, and as Truman said, when you never disagree, it means only one person is thinking. And we want everybody to think.
Yes, we do.
I was on a show Wednesday with Mark Westwood, and he was telling me, I thought there was only 210,000 people in San Bernardino, but he's saying there's 270,000. Out of the 270,000, there's only 78,000 registered voters here in San Bernardino, and only 14% of the 78,000 vote. What do you think about that?
Well, we do have a low voter turnout. I've never heard it was 270,000. I'm sure
I'm just wondering.
Mr. Westwood, and I certainly not. If I don't have information in front of me, I'm not going to dispute. But I had always heard also it was around 210,000.
That's what I thought.
But I've always heard the percentage of voters is way, way low, and
14.
I know that because I see the results of that. But we just need a massive campaign. I don't think a lot of people understand the importance of voting. One of the things and one of the ways I got my stepson to vote was he loved to read, and he loved reading political things, and then he wanted to debate me.
Really?
Yeah, and so I wouldn't debate him, and I said, you don't have the qualifications to debate me. You're not a voter, and that forced him to vote, because I would ask him, you're 18, you need to go vote. He didn't do that. So, at any rate, I did. I said, no. I said, you have no right. You're not qualified to debate me. And that made him so angry. He started voting.
That's actually a good thing. And I'd like to ask everybody out there listening, if you are not registered to vote, you can do it online. Please, San Bernardino needs you to do that.
And I'd like to say to those who are voters, tell those people who want to talk to you and debate and encourage you to do something. Tell them to come back when you register to vote and vote.
Yes, please vote. Just because you're registered doesn't mean that you just get to vote.
I got the correct number for how many people here are in San Bernardino. It's 213,708. That's about accurate, right?
I believe so.
And that 13,708, that's about how many votes won the mayoral election, correct?
No, it's 213,000 people here in San Bernardino.
So you don't need that much to win an election is what I'm trying to say. So we need more voters registered.
When I was out there doing the campaign 2 years ago, a lot of people gave me the same answer, and they would say, "Why should I vote? It's already set up. Nobody cares, so I don't want to vote. I don't care." That's what most of their replies were.
I need to, if you don't mind, I can answer this why it's important to vote. About 25 years ago, on an election night, and I did not do absentee ballot at that time, I was on my way home. It was raining. It was wet. It was cold. And I said, I am not going to stop in this weather to vote. The next morning when I picked up my newspaper, and it was a city council election, and the vote was a tie.
Really?
I have not let anything stop me from voting since then.
Really?
And it was the one time I think they flipped a coin to do the decision. It was not all of this. We're going to recount now because someone might have made a mistake, and my candidate lost.
Really?
And I have paid for that, and I think of that often, and I refuse. It could snow 10 inches of snow on election day in San Bernardino. I'll crawl through it to vote because of that one election.
That's great.
That's how I feel. My mom and dad made the family get together. On the day to vote, everyone went together. We all voted as a family, and we made sure and told everyone that we're there, that we're voting as a family. And maybe you could do that with your family. Get together, get your mom, take her out, and take her to the polls.
People got to understand the voices of the people is what makes America together. We need to vote to change everything.
That is correct.
All right, I'm going to change it up a little bit because I want to.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk about politics.
That's okay. I think I got through without sweating too much.
What's your favorite thing about San Bernardino?
The favorite thing about San Bernardino are the people. I have met some of the most amazing people.
A diverse group, too.
A very diverse group. People with a lot to offer. I mean, from all communities. A very, very proud and diverse group of people. And I think it's a shame when we do not get together and do events and things together so we can understand how much each group, each ethnicity has to offer. this is one powerful, very, just very resourceful group of people. And
that mixing is important. A mixing of cultures actually leads to better ideas in the future.
It helps each of us grow. It's so important that we do understand and listen and understand why people do what they do and how people have gotten to the places, they've gotten in this world. It's very important.
Very important. Very important.
And, okay, any advice to the kids and parents out there about the future of education?
Well, I tell you, if you want a good quality of life, you need to stay in school. If you want a great quality of life, you need to stay in school. If you want a phenomenal quality of life, you need to stay in school. The only way you can progress, only way you can look at yourself now, and you should right now, and say, do I like what's going on in my life? If you like staying home with mom and dad, if you like getting on Omnitrans every day, if you prefer going to McDonald's instead of Red Lobster, you might be able to sell enough bottles and cans to do that from time to time. Nothing wrong with those jobs, because those small jobs are stepping stones to the bigger jobs. But every young person, and I tell you, I wish when I was 6, 10, 15, that I had the brain power these young people have today.
Ain't that the truth?
I have a remote to the alarm in my house I still don't know how to use. But I tell you, I bet everybody between the ages of 6 and 18 would know. And that's the brain power we have in this country.
They almost can go to school online and study the things they wish and still go to school.
And still go to school, yeah. Exactly. So I just want to say to all young people, if you could make a commitment today, this Mother's Day 2015, and say to your mom and your dad, I'm going to be a better me because of you, I think that would be the greatest Mother's Day present you could give your mother, your grandmother, your guardian, your neighbors, your city, and your country.
I agree wholeheartedly. Man.
Have you ever went and picked out in the fields when you were young and picked oranges and grapes and all that kind of stuff when it was real poor back in the day?
Did I go out and do it, or how many times? My parents were sharecroppers.
Really?
So we raised peanuts, cotton. We picked cotton. We planted peanuts and had to post the peanuts on the stick. We did corn. We fed the hogs, the chickens.
You did it all, didn't you?
I did it all.
That's great.
So needless to say, I didn't stay home from school because I knew what I had to do if I stayed
can't wait.
home.
Now, what's the name of your book again, Miss Hill? I need to read that.
I did write a little bit of in my first book, which is It's All About the Children. It was published in 2011.
Okay.
And if you go on my website, which is www.margarethill.net, you can see something about that. But I have a second book coming out, and it's called, of all things, From Sharecropping to Non-Stopping.
Wow.
And that's what the publisher's now, and hopefully this summer it will be available and on the market.
There's things that people don't know about me. I used to pick onions, grapes, eggs, apricots. It was hard work.
Exactly.
People don't even know what it was.
Wait a second.
Like.
You only pick grapes one time, my dad said. The next time you bring the scissors and you cut grapes. Yes. My dad came from Canada, and that's how he made his money when he got here, is he picked grapes the first day, and everyone laughed at him, and he didn't understand why till his hand was all hurt.
Yes. As sharecroppers, our pay was a meal, a nice hot meal at the end of the day. But my first paid job, I picked strawberries. I begged my parents to let me stay out of school to pick strawberries, my sisters and I, and my mom did it. And that was a lesson as well, because at the end of the day, I made a total of 95 cents.
Oh, big money.
I made $1. What did I make? $1.80 is what I made.
Man, you guys really went through some rough times to make it so it's easier for us today, didn't you?
Block cheese, standing in line with the powdered milk and the beans and all. I remember them days.
Yeah, we never had any services of that kind because we were farmers. We raised everything, you know. We did have to go to the store and buy the cheese, but we had our hogs that we slaughtered, and all the vegetables we raised. We never bought
do you still
vegetables.
garden at all, or?
I do. I haven't this year, but last year my husband and I had a good season with chili peppers, tomatoes.
We need more of that in our schools.
Collards.
Yes.
Yes.
If we could get some hydroponic growing systems inside the school classroom where the kids could watch the tomatoes and cucumbers grow, wow, that would be so cool.
Students love it. When I was at San Andreas, my science teacher had a garden, and I just said to him, I said, I don't know how you can get these students to work this garden. I can't get them to pick a piece of paper up off the ground. And lo and behold, those students got there early. They were just mulching that dirt, and they were just all involved. They just loved it. They just loved it.
It's a passion of mine, and that's how I relax every morning.
Great, it is.
Right on, Miss Hill. Well, we're at the end of this segment. Would you like to mention anything you'd like to shout out, or you have everything, right?
Well, not everything, but I tell you, I've had a wonderful life. And as far as the women in my life who's been just so instrumental, I certainly will start with my mom, who was there for me and insisted that I go to college because she just never felt I would be able to find a husband. And I'm glad she pushed me. Then when I was going to college, I had two sisters who were working in New York doing days work. And they made sure whenever I had a request for funds, I got that. And then when I came to San Bernardino, my first job was given to me by Francis Grice, who's still a mentor in my life. And then I can't go without mentioning my friend Denise Lundy, because in 2010 I discovered I had cancer. And through all of my chemo treatments and everything, she took me to every treatment and stayed with me. And that has certainly been...
God bless her.
Yeah, that has been valuable. And I know I did not talk about all the women who's been influential in my life, but I did want to mention, those, because those are the ones.
We know you love everybody, Ms.
I
Hill.
I do.
You're a very nice person, and I appreciate how much you've had your arms open for me.
I got a question out of the box. Have you ever had the pleasure of meeting Martin Luther King?
I did not meet Martin Luther King, and let me tell you why. When Martin Luther King did the March on Washington, I lived 200 miles away in Virginia. I was 22 years old and called myself in love. And because the guy I was dating did not want to go, I didn't go. One of the many regrets in my life. But I do want to tell you that in March I got a chance to meet Congressman John Lewis. It wasn't my first time. I met him. It was good meeting him because he was one of the stars and one of the people who walked with Martin Luther King in Selma. I met him, I think, the first time in the 80s. At that time, Congressman Joe Baca, it might have even been the 90s.
Joe Baca, I know very well.
Yeah, he had invited three of us to go to Washington, D.C. To speak on education, and we went into the Capitol dining room, and I met John Lewis then. Wow. So it was great. It was great meeting him.
I see him on TV all the time.
You got to go to the White House?
I've been to the White House, but let me tell you about my experience at the White House, which I also don't like to talk about. I went to the White House because I'm on the board. At that time, I was on the fiduciary board of Community Hospital of San Bernardino. So I went as a part of Dignity Health. Got there. The night before, we had a tour of the North Hall, the North Side, North Hall. So I got to see the Rose Garden, the President's Room, and all of those things. But of course, nobody was there with the guards. The next day, we had a meeting, and I was scheduled to have a meeting in the White House conference room. When I got to the gate, they didn't have me on the list with the people I was with, but of course I'm familiar with the area. I said to them, that's okay, I'll wait for the next group. And they said, we can't leave you here by yourself. I said, I'm a big girl. I can stay here by myself. So the two people who were staying with me, both were on crutches. So I just felt guilty having them stay there. So after my conference, I went back to the hotel room. About an hour later, I saw this one person say, Margaret, where were you? We were in the White House conference room, and the president came in and shook all of our hands. I said, please tell me you're kidding.
Oh, wow.
And he said, but you should have been there because they had a name sign, plaque made for me and everything. So my one chance to meet the president. Now, I did go to the first inauguration. I did do that. But this would have been a real close-up. So I'm determined before he gets out of office, I'm going to get a chance to shake his hand.
That's cool. Right on. That's an incredible story. I really like that.
Man, we could invite him over here to come and see us.
Yeah, let's have Obama on the show. That's right.
I think that's a great idea.
We can do that. Yeah. All right, well, so I'd like to thank you very much, and this has been a great segment. I appreciate you coming here. Thank you.
It has been a joy. It has been a joy. And again, I just want to say to all the mothers out there, be thankful. I know a lot of your children have done wonderful things, and you appreciate them. But even if they haven't, you'd still the mother, and you just need to take charge and take control, whether they're 2 or 20.
Absolutely.
And just be there to make sure that they are good citizens. We need them all. We need them alive. We need them healthy. We need them educated so that we can improve San Bernardino.
Remember, everybody, in San Bernardino, everybody needs to vote. We need to make change and put some good leaders in San Bernardino where we can change, have a good city again.
Absolutely. All right, Joe. Thank you very much, Miss Hill.
Thank
you. To the next song, sir.
Travel around this universe until eternity, but you'll never find that piece of man that you've been dreaming of. Not until you finally decide to come on home to San Bernardino. Oh, I'm longing for San Bernardino.
Hello, I love San Bernardino. We're here right now for the San Bernardino History Tidbit from www.sanmanuel-nsn.gov. Singing has always been an integral role in the lives of the Serrano people. Unlike other American Indian musicians, traditional Serrano musicians did not use drums for rhythm, but instead they fashioned gourd rattles with palm tree seeds inside to make the percussive sounds. In the past, songs of the Serrano people were used to prepare for hunting the bighorn sheep roaming their ancestral land. These songs reminded hunters that if the natural systems were in order, the sheep would be there and they would not come home empty-handed. The San Manuel Band of Mission Indians has been successful in preserving many of these songs. To this day, songs are sung to describe social customs, creation stories, and history of the region's indigenous people. In recent times, elders from the neighboring Kcaa tribe have taught bird songs to tribal members at the San Manuel Reservation. Bird songs are sung throughout the Southern California area, as well as Mojave Desert and along the Colorado River. Bird songs are not directly about birds. Rather, the songs derive their name from the migrations of birds that parallel the movement of people through their territory, telling the story of the creation, animals seen along the way, and sacred places. Stay tuned for Real Bird Songs next at 5 p.m. in a half hour on The Talent Show. Now, that's San Bernardino's History Tidbit. Now I'd like to move into our next guest here. We got Mr. Scott Olson, a local of San Bernardino, born and raised. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Scott?
My name is Scott Olson, and yes, I was born in San Bernardino. I have lived a large portion of my life in San Bernardino, except for in the summertime. So my family, took me on trips all over the United States where I saw all sorts of historical places and all of that. I'm committed to San Bernardino. I love San Bernardino. I went to Minstrel Elementary School. I went to Golden Valley Junior High School. Went to Pacific High School. Went to Valley College. San Bernardino's it's my life. And I love the city, and I want to see the best for the city, but, it gets frustrating.
Yeah, it does. It really
does. Now, Mr. Olson here is an activist, and I've met him at, I think it was Wildwood Park. When they were, we had a group together, basically based under Deb Matley, and we made a commitment to try to protect the park from getting built on. And you went right up there and showed me the way and kind of started introducing me to people in the city, and really helped me become the activist that I am today. You helped me along the way, and I appreciate that, Scott.
Yeah. I don't really consider myself an activist, though a lot of people would call me that. I would like to consider myself more of an advocate. I want to advocate for certain things that I think that San Bernardino needs.
That's good. Well, what is one thing you think San Bernardino needs?
San Bernardino needs
Voters.
to get out of its slump. In our city, the last couple of years, we are bankrupt. We have been in bankruptcy longer than any other city in history, and yet even now, not even a month before we're supposed to get out of bankruptcy, myself and a lot of people I talk to have no clue what they're going to do.
And I really don't have any clue what they are doing in there.
And that's what worries me.
Do you think they're keeping us in the dark on purpose?
That's one of my biggest frustrations is I really oftentimes am left going, what the heck are you doing when I see what they're doing in the city?
That's what I say.
Give you a very basic example. If you don't have enough money, yeah, you can tighten your belt, but at some point in time, you can only tighten it so far. You have to go out and you have to get money. In a city, you do that by going out and raising revenue, not by just raising taxes. You do it by encouraging business to come. You do that by helping business to stay. And you do that by a variety of ways that you increase the revenue. In San Bernardino, we have a revenue problem. We had a former mayor who was under the mistaken belief that we could survive in San Bernardino on $125 million in revenue. Obviously, we're bankrupt. It didn't work. And we're still trying to survive on $125 million, and we're not doing it. I'm as much as I'm involved, I'm blown away that every other city can figure a way out to how to raise revenue. We don't even try.
And it seems when ideas do come up, like, for example, tourism based on the negative mega art or cannabis issues where we could make money off that, the door gets shut right in our face.
Mom and pop stores. We don't have no more mom and pop stores.
They'll bring in a Walmart, but mom and pop, well, they go to the wayside.
I was just reading something last night. They're closing down Walmart. Did you know that?
Which Walmart?
A bunch of them, about 10, 15 of them.
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
Well, let's hope it's a movement towards mom and pop stores and away from Walmart. I hope.
Well, I don't know.
Small business is the backbone of a community.
Yes, it is.
And two recent examples I've heard about, there was a Starbucks they wanted to put on East Street. Now, I don't know about you, but downtown East Street, a Starbucks would be a great thing. I'm not even a customer of theirs.
I agree.
Okay. Unfortunately, our city couldn't make it happen. That business is now in Hesperia.
City planning, I bet you.
From what I understand, Starbucks wanted a drive-through, and the city would not allow them to have it because of SBX. Go figure.
So
That's
SBX is preventing us from getting revenue already?
If you go down East Street and you look since the start of SBX, and a lot of people say it's the economy, it can't possibly be the best line. Look how many businesses we used to have, small mom-and-pop businesses. They're gone.
Right.
Okay. The latest example we've all heard, and we're looking forward to eating at Golden Corral. I've been informed that Golden Corral, after they ran into the city and their codes and their rules and everything, we will not have a Golden Corral in San Bernardino because City Hall couldn't make it happen.
And I'm tired of hearing that. I want it. It feels like they're trying to dumb us down or bring us down. Is there a reason for that? Are they planning on selling us away to the cheapest bidder? Or
That's a good question.
I cannot tell you I understand why they're doing what they're doing. I only know the frustration I feel when I see things, we're not moving forward. They say wonderful things, but I look around and my involvement in things, I'm not just involved in San Bernardino. I'm involved outside of San Bernardino. And they don't even care.
Yeah, so public knows you're the sign guy of this area. Me and you will go out at 3 a.m. and put up signs all over the city for political events and for political candidates, and we kind of have met a lot of people in that realm.
I am known as a sign guy because, quite honestly, I don't like titles. I've worked on over 20 different campaigns, all the way from city council all the way up to congressional. I've worked in probably a dozen different cities, one way or the other, and it's you get to see things. And I do a lot more than signs, but I don't like to talk about it because in campaigns, you kind of want to.
Well, you taught me a lot about the signs. We can talk about that a little bit. We've gone through some craziness. People were actually taking our signs and cutting them after we put them up last election. So it gets wild out there.
In the elections I've been involved in, especially in the area in Redlands, which is most frustrating, but also in North San Bernardino, in doing signs, I have watched as literally thousands of dollars worth of campaign signs have been cut up, destroyed, stolen, or otherwise damaged.
It just seems really weird that you'd want to do that. If you can't win on your own merit, I just don't agree with that stuff.
I don't either. If I was to have somebody working on a campaign that I found out was destroying signs in any way, shape, or form, the people I work with, I would guarantee they would never touch another sign or be in another campaign again.
So if you are a politician and you are interested in putting signs around, get in contact with Mr. Olson here on Facebook.
Actually, those who I work with politically.
Well, tell them what side you usually step on. You're going to be starting the new San Bernardino Tea Party, correct?
Okay. I am Republican, and most of the individuals I work with are Republicans. Not just Republicans, I lean towards conservative type Republicans, which usually goes over very well with the Tea Party. It was working on campaigns that got me into politics.
And the Tea Party.
The Tea Party. Mm-hmm. First time I went to the Tea Party, they dragged me in. I said, man, what am I doing? This is supposed to be a bunch of crazy people.
That's what you did to me, right?
Exactly. And I got there, and I looked around, and I saw a lot of great people who were really, really dedicated. They were very informed, and the Tea Party was all about people learning information, speakers.
Yeah, it was more like a presentation to teach the current events from their point of view.
Teaching and learning is a central part of why I am gotten to the point now where I like the Tea Party. I used to consider myself a Republican who went to Tea Party meetings. Now I'm a Tea Party Republican, plain and simple.
So how do you go about starting a group like the Tea Party in San Bernardino?
A lot of the stuff we've been working on is the same as starting any group. There's a foundation you got to start, and it's been a lot more difficult, and there's a lot more aspects. You have to get stuff for bank accounts. You have to get approved by the state, even though the state was the one who asked me. The state coordinator was the one who said, please come and help us. It takes longer than you think.
Mm-hmm.
And
what is a Tea Party? What is it?
The Tea Party is a political organization that is nonpartisan. Now, the basic tenets of the Tea Party, and this is where I guess some people think they're crazy, the Tea Party is all about less taxes, less government, and a free market economy. Okay. Also, and lately they've added a debt-free government, and for this they are lambasted for this. And they also, a lot of Tea Party members stick up for Second Amendment rights.
So if you have this Tea Party, so does that go through the city, or how does that work?
No, it's an entirely separate organization. It's a self-sustained organization. They have Tea Parties at the state level coordinators, and I'm sure there are people at the national level that are the National Tea Party. For myself, I'm involved the last 3 years with the Redlands Tea Party, which is probably the best Tea Party in Southern California.
Really?
Yeah, they have anywhere from 120 to 200 members every month.
Wow.
Yeah, they're a lot bigger than you think. We're in the process. San Bernardino is only one of 4 or 5 satellites that are starting in the Inland Empire area, because there are so many people that are interested. The Tea Party is growing in leaps and bounds.
And
anybody
they're
can
pretty advanced
join.
too, right? They're doing good.
The Tea Party is nonpartisan. It doesn't matter what party you belong to. Now, the Tea Party is conservative, so if you're not comfortable with conservative principles, if you don't know them, come and find out. Then you probably wouldn't feel that good going to a meeting. However, like I said, I was a skeptic. I went along because I was a part of a campaign. And I never quit going, because the more I learned, the more I liked it.
And they have a dope steakhouse. That's cool.
First Thursday of the month, out in Mentone at Mill Creek Cattle Company in Diamond Jim Saloons. Doors open at 6 o'clock if you want to get a good seat, you want to get a good meal. A lot of socializing and networking goes on in that time frame. By 6:30, the parking lot's full, and I mean full. I mean like a quarter mile down the street, the parking lot. Everywhere you look, there's cars. They fill the place up.
So anybody could join the Tea Party? No,
anybody is welcome to come to the Tea Party, whether you are sure you like it or not. Like I said, my first impression of the Tea Party, based on what I heard out and around, I was a skeptic. Then I went there and I learned. And once you get involved, I love it.
What I saw when I went was a political machine. I saw technology being used. I saw PowerPoints. I saw people giving speeches. I saw electeds up there giving their ideas. It made me think that there needs to be this sort of group for a lot more organizations.
I really, really hope over the next year we can get the Tea Party to grow in San Bernardino, because the Tea Party is its own entity. I mean, I love the fact that when I go to the Tea Party, it's not about San Bernardino politics. It's the big picture. It's what's happening in our state, and it's taught me more than anybody else has. So for me, it's about learning. But like you said, the second part of the Tea Party, and I will tell you right, the political machine, the second part, once you learn, what do you do with what you learn? You have a set of principles you believe in. You move forward with those principles, and you put them into motion. For me and for the Tea Party, an active part of the Tea Party is, if you want things to work the way you want them to go, you get the right person elected to the office, and you don't just say, oh, I'll vote for him, but you go out there, you're knocking on doors, you're making phone calls, you're putting up signs, you become active, boots on the ground, and you support that person that you think is going to be the best for the office.
Now, when I support someone, am I pretty loyal there, Scott?
I don't see how you managed to be loyal to Paul Chabot. I mean, you were loyal to him as a friend, and that friendship and that loyalty, you've made
Paul
a
Chabot
lot.
is my good friend and my fraternity brother. I've known him for over 20 years. He's running for Congress again, coming up here in the 31st District. And in fact, there's been a Supreme Court case that may change the redistricting line. So it'll be an interesting election coming up.
Yeah, for you and Paul, you made a lot of sacrifices to help Paul with whether he lost, but in the process of making those sacrifices, Robert, how much did you grow by getting involved?
I learned so much. I mean, I am in the middle, but I don't mind helping other people, when they have some good causes. Now, Paul, I don't agree with him on cannabis at all. But on other things, I do agree with Paul, especially trying to stop ISIS from coming over here and things like that. He's really involved in trying to make sure that these terrorists stay out of our country. Man,
Yeah, well, Paul and I probably agree on just about everything. When it comes to cannabis, I am neutral simply because I can only be involved in so many things and have an opinion, so I have, for focus point, the cannabis issue, I pretty much stay neutral on it because in the Republican Party, nobody's ever really given me a solid platform. A lot of different opinions float around all over the place, so I'll just listen to all of them and watch it as it happens.
So how could we get the Republican Party to start some kind of cannabis platform to at least look into it scientifically and not just talking point-wise?
Well, in the state of California, your situation is real simple. The Republicans have very little or no control. So there's not a whole lot they can do. It's the Democrats control the state, and quite honestly, they own the issue. Whether we move forward or not depends on what the Democratic Party does or does not do.
I like how you skirted that question, but you have 2 minutes left. Was there something you'd like to? Oh, you have a question?
Yeah.
Okay.
What he's saying is everything turns into a debate. Basically, everybody. To me, a debate is an argument. Basically.
Well, debate and talking about things is the wonderful part of our political process. We have the freedom to debate it. The alternative is what you have in North Korea, what you have in China, what you have in Cuba, where you have a one-party system where debate is irrelevant because the party will tell you who you are and what you believe. Mm-hmm. For me, as a Tea Party member, that's the last thing I want to see.
Mm. So, Mr. Olson, how do we get San Bernardino people to vote? We only got 14% that actually vote here.
Get involved, learn, find out where you stand, and do it.
So nothing's going to change unless we all get together and vote.
I'd like to thank Scott Olson for being on, and I'd like to thank you all for turning into the I Love San Bernardino radio show. I'd like to thank my co-host, Danny Alcarez, and I'll talk to you all later. Out.
4 little miles from San Bernardino, the porter shouted, "We're almost due." I saw familiar spots we knew. 4 little miles from San Bernardino, 3 little miles from San Bernardino. My bag was packed and ready. I said to my...
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
This is your NBC Sports Radio update.
LeBron, the winner. I'm Keith Urizari, the 4-time league MVP. Missed 20 shots, but buried the game winner that evened the series at 2, 86-84 the final. Cavs over the Bulls. Head coach David Blatt gushed about his star.
He takes the responsibility. He knows who he is. He knows what he does, what he needs to do for this team, and he takes responsibility. And